Welcome to Sports Communications Lecture 2, where we're looking at sports PR landscapes. In this section, we're looking at commercial considerations. There are a number of commercial dimensions to the relationships that sports organisations have with the media. There's the relationship with sport governing bodies and the sports organisation, where cash flows back and forward in the form of fees and levies and payments for broadcasting. Sports organisations and advertisers, where advertisers pay for placement, or sports organisations are paying advertisers for placement. Other media, such as the internet, magazines, various other things like that, the smaller groupings, the same. Sponsors and sports organisation, where sponsors are paying for involvement and paying individual players. Sports organisations and broadcasters, where if they're a small sports organisation, they're paying the broadcasters or arranging a contra with advertisers, or where broadcasters are paying the sports organisation in order to have a commercial arrangement. And then sports organisations and their consumers, and those consumers are also having a relationship with broadcasters, advertisers, other media, and the sponsors. So this is quite an intense kind of twirl of activity. With broadcasters, the popularity and the appeal of sport also means that acquiring rights to big broadcast sports events and games can increase the brand awareness of the broadcaster, which might increase demand for other non-related sports content, simply because sports fans are usually very loyal. They're good consumers. Consumers also pay other media providers for all sorts of sport-related content. Advertisers will often pay magazines or newspapers to access their consumers, so don't forget why those places are in business. The uniqueness of the sport product is also something we need to think about. Sport is a ephemeral product. It's a perishable good, in other words. You can't bank a seat at a game until next week. It's consumed on the day, pretty much. There's also intense consumer interest, what I've mentioned before about that, and that's very strong emotional engagement. There's the uncertain outcome, and there's a huge amount of passion, loyalty, and often nationalism or state orientation. And that often will be locked into the winning broadcaster, so they're the only ones who can access that. So there's little option but to consume the product, i.e. the film or the news clip or the game, by the broadcaster who's secured the rights. Otherwise you don't get to see it. So it's a very interesting dynamic. Thinking about the sell and buy consideration, the sports organisation needs to think carefully about the size of the bid. They need to make sure they're getting the best value for money they can, while balancing the idea that they want to have very broad coverage. They want all their fans to be able to see it, and to make sure that the bid is actually solvent, because if they get partway through the broadcast deal and the broadcaster falls over, then there's absolutely no point in going into it in the first place. They would have been better to have taken a smaller bid and to be sure that they'll see out the term. Equally, the broadcaster's got to think about the audience size that they can reach, their likely return on investment, and the perceived long-term value for this particular sports game, event, whatever it is that they're actually bidding for. Need to make sure that the value of the sports right increases in proportion to the exclusivity of their bid as well. They want to make sure that they've got all the rights that they want to pay for, that they want to buy.